Well, it's time for round 8 of the AFL, and I'm just going to give you a quick moment. Go down to the comments, and if you want, you can tell me to stop picking Swans. We've got too many injured players, but I can't help it. They're my team. Anyway, we'll see if I change my line of thinking in this round. So let's get picking. But how did we do in round 7? Well, I can tell you for starters, it started very, very well because Thursday the 24th, Melbourne are picking themselves off the bottom of the table, aren't they? Because they came out as 20-point winners against Richmond, who they are, although they've won 2, that you don't predict Richmond to win, although some did in this game. I did Melbourne to win by 25, so I get a close score. I think Richmond brought it back a little bit closer right at the end of the game, but it was a bigger margin coming into that fourth quarter. So 1.5 points. See, very good start. And I was very positive. It does go wrong a little bit later. Next game on Friday was Collingwood versus Essendon, the Anzac game. And this happens every year. And as expected, 95% of people went for the Pies here. I did Pies to win by 22. They actually won a little bit more comfortably by 41. Essendon were never really in this game. And I just think Collingwood now sitting top of the league. They are really, really pushing and showing what they are capable of, which they've been able to do the last few years. So 1 point for the win. I'm still happy with that. I was still going up places. Then Freo versus Crows. And I did Freo to win by 12. They actually won by 18. I think this was another game where Freo were pretty on top. But look at this. 50% to 50%. That is how you guys predicted. That is how close it was. So I was even happier that I got a close result as well. So 1.5 points for that one. Excellent. It kept going well. It kept going well because next game was Saints versus Brisbane. Brisbane get back to winning against a Saints team that I just don't really see anything special about at all. They won by 45. I did them to win by 32. So it was almost in a close margin. So Brisbane now in second place. Same win and loss record as Collingwood. Then Port versus North. This was a game where Port get their chance to win again, right? They get their chance to win another game because North, they've won one, but there's so much effort, but the effort doesn't really produce results. So, I did a bigger win, 45. Port, very close in the end. They won by 9. So, 1 point for the win there. But this is when it went wrong. The underdogs decided to win this game. GWS versus Bulldogs. 84% went for GWS, and we all got it wrong because I did Giants by 10. They actually lost by 32. Look, Western Bulldogs were really, really good throughout the game and deserved the win. But that is a lot of people that do not get the result, which potentially is okay for me. But, yeah, this is the big one, right? This is the one. My Swans team, I didn't expect... I almost thought they would lose, knowing like they've got a serious injury problem, lacking the attack to score goals. And this showed again. Gold Coast won by 38, and I did Swans to win by 12. Do I learn from my mistake this week? We'll find out. Then, Cats, surprising loss. I thought it would be fairly close. As you can see, I did Cats to win by 8. But Carlton, pushing up the table, got a decent result. They won by 18. Once again, the real underdogs, they won this game. I don't think anyone expected Geelong not to win this. Really, they should have won on paper, but they didn't. The final game, though, it was probably a fairly easy one, and it was all about how many points they win by. I went a little bit more conservative, which was my downfall. I did Hawks to win by 27. They actually beat Eagles by 50. God, I'd hate to be an Eagles fan. I really, really would. 1 point for the win to finish off with. The round really did start off me thinking I am going up here. I am going to do well, and it went to crap. Let's see the top 10. So Aussie Dylan, DJD and Vam H all stay 1, 2, 3. Magpie Paulie is up 3 places. Yin up 14 into 5th. RPN up 11 into 6th. Warwick down 1. Grahamby up 3. Bologna and Leonidas both down 5. Let's check out some big movers then. Magpie Steve up 22. Smiley up 18. Benjamin up 15. Jaden Saints up 16. Let's see. Up 24 is Doofus. Down 25 is Smithy. Down 21, Roscoe. Down 27, Ryan. Ouch. Up 29, Dark Soul. Good week for you. Gurud is up 36. Gurud is having a lot of movement. He's having some good weeks and some bad weeks. Up 32 is Holball. Okay, interesting name. Down 28 is Crisis. Down 48 is Emors. Ouch. Up 31, AFL Time. Down 28, Polish Power. I want some real big movers. I can't believe how badly Jackson's doing this year. Okay, down 29 is Rummy. Ooh, the Golden Hat is down the way. Down in 96th place. Up 21, Cooper F with the Golden Hat. Where am I? Oh, fuck. See, I thought I was having a good week and I've stayed still. I am still in 115th place. Oh my God, that's shocking. Okay, let's see. The Wooden Spoon goes to Tiger Eye, who stayed in the same place. Bizarre. And here it is at the end, 156 people. Where am I? So if I'm on 41 points, the leader is 59. Wow, 18 points clear. I've got to get some big scores to try and get up close. So well done to the top 10 for this week. So on to picking round 8. And we start on Thursday, the 1st of May. Essendon versus North at Marvel Stadium. Surely there is only one winner, but this is not as easy. If you're looking at it, certainly Essendon went on a 3-game winning streak. They lost, so they will certainly be looking to rebound from that. They don't want consecutive losses. North, there's so much effort, but cannot get over the line. Paul Curtis, I think, is out, so that's a bit of a loss for them. Could you say Essendon have that home ground advantage? Maybe. I'm not sure. I think this has got to be, though, an Essendon win here. It could easily be a North win. Right, no, let's stick with it. Essendon to win here by 24. Not ridiculous amounts. Let's see if they can do that. Next, Marvel again on Friday. It is Saints versus Freo. Now, I've been pleasantly surprised by Freo. They didn't start off amazingly in their first couple of games, but they're carrying a little bit of momentum. I know they lost the previous week, but they are still carrying some good momentum with a strong win over Adelaide. Saints, Mason Wood is sidelined due to a concussion, so that's not great. I just think Dockers are playing with a little bit more confidence, certainly more confidence than they did last year, and even then they're still only in 9th place. Quite a few teams are on 16 points. I think actually Freo, they're going to come away from home. Quite often I don't necessarily rate Freo away from home, but against a Saints team who I think are probably struggling a little bit, we're going to go with a Freo win. Let's do Freo by 18. That's the one. Next, Mars Stadium, Ballarat. It is Saturday the 3rd. Western Bulldogs versus Port. Both teams coming off good wins, actually. Western Bulldogs were the surprise winners last week, weren't they, against GWS? And I think that 2-game winning streak could be a little bit of momentum for them. They're grinding out the games, aren't they, for sure? Port, they do lose the key forward Todd Marshall due to injury. And Mars Stadium, that is the home ground, and I think there should be a decent home advantage there for Bulldogs. Some stadiums you get that home advantage, some you don't, and I think with Bulldogs you will do. So let's do Bulldogs here by 15. Not a ridiculous amount, because I don't think Bulldogs necessarily have that quality. Thinking about the home advantage, which I believe they should have, we're going to go with that. Then, Adelaide Oval, Crows versus Carlton. And amazingly, Carlton are on a 3-game winning run. I still don't think they've been convincing, but wow, I think that win over Geelong was pretty big. Again, they were certainly the underdogs to win that. I think potentially Adelaide, with the few injuries they've got, key players like Riley Thilthorpe, that's a big loss. It's difficult. They're at home. Oh. Do you know what? I think the Blues possibly, I know they're playing away, but I think they can potentially capitalise on a few defensive frailties that Crows may have at the moment. So I'm going to go with a Carlton win as well. Yeah, Carlton win. It pains me to say. But a Carlton win, 7 points. Tight game. That's what we're going to go with. All right, MCG, Collingwood versus Geelong. Collingwood, 6 games in a row, victorious. They are flying high at the top of the table. They've got huge momentum. They are playing well. And even when those games where they're not playing well, they're still able to grind those results out, which has been pretty impressive. Geelong's Gyron Mears is under concussion protocols, affecting their forward line. So I don't expect them to be as good up front. Home advantage for the Pies. Oh, this one's an interesting one. I'm going to go with a really, really close one, actually. I'm going to go a 3-point win. Oh, no, wrong way. 3-point win to the Magpies. This could be a really interesting game. Look, I don't necessarily... Surely Geelong will still pick it up from their loss last week, but could be a really close game. Could be a close game. Next up, it is West Coast versus the D's. D's, 2 wins in a row. Are they going to pull it back? Their players are now starting to show. I've been pretty critical of Gawn. He has looked old. He's looked slow, second best. But last couple of games, he's certainly upped it, as well as other players. They need to be working as a team. And I think for 3 wins in a row here, they've got a perfect opportunity to beat a West Coast team who can't buy a victory. West Coast have been close. Was it last week or the week before? Week before. But they then soon let that go again last week. Yeah, they haven't got anything. They haven't got anything here. And I think Demons should exploit Eagles' undermanned lineup, which most teams will do this season. I can't see West Coast even winning a game this year. They could get whitewashed all season. So, D's by 35. I think that represents that the D's are not necessarily flying high, but it's a win. It's how much, isn't it? Next, Sunday the 4th, SCG, Swans versus Giants. Oh, head versus heart, isn't it? Head versus heart. Giants, they have lost 2 games in a row. But Sydney, God, the injuries we've got is insane. Papley, Mills, it's just crazy. It really, really is. We are 3 games in a row losing. Oh, my God. What do I do? I don't know. It's really difficult because it's head-heart. Heart wants to say Swans, head says Giants. And the problem is if I go Giants, then Swans will probably win. Oh. It's painful with our roster. It's so depleted. No, you guys will be screaming at me. You guys, will be screaming at me saying, Rob, you've got to go with your head, not your heart. But screw it. Sydney by 6. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. They're my team. Heart wins, okay? Heart wins. And if I went with Giants, then Swans would win. I would get screwed. Okay, MCG. Hawthorn versus Richmond. Hawthorn back to winning ways. Obviously lost 2 in a row. You know, almost getting found out. But they are against a Richmond side now who, they're not that great. Let's be honest. You know, they've had a couple of wins. Fair play. But they're not going to be in contention for the top 8. Hawthorn certainly are. I think should be energised after last week's significant win. Richmond, they do struggle with consistency and lack of form. And they're playing at MCG, which I think is either, you know, I don't think it makes any difference. So Hawthorn are going to win it. Hawthorn by 40. Yeah, Hawthorn by 40. I haven't got much else to say. Richmond are just struggling. Hawthorn hopefully now finding their feet again after 2 losses. Hawthorn by 40. And then the last game of the week is Brisbane versus Gold Coast at the Gabba. We all know the record that Brisbane have at the Gabba. That is huge, right? Yes, they lost 1 game. I think that's partly because Brisbane haven't necessarily been sensational, but have got results. Potentially came up against a Pies team who is potentially better. Gold Coast are coming off comprehensive wins, boosting their confidence for sure. I just think Lions at the Gabba. Lions at the Gabba. This isn't saying Gold Coast can't win this, because they certainly can. So it's going to reflect in my score. Do you know what I'm going to do? Brisbane. Let's do 11. Brisbane by 11. So this week's predictions. Essendon by 24. Freo by 18. Bulldogs by 15. Carlton by 7. Pies by 3. D's by 35. Sydney Swans, please, by 6. Hawthorn by 40. And Brisbane by 11. I just hope that I'd have a good week. I thought I had a good week starting off last week, and it went to pot. But I hope you're all enjoying it. I've had some really, really nice messages and nice comments from you guys saying about the community that we have doing this. Superbru is weird because it makes it so much harder getting those extra half points and Grand Slam points. It is brilliant. So thank you so much for joining me every week and making this possible. For you guys that have been joining my watch-alongs, you have also been amazing. But thank you so much. I'm off. I will catch you next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, obviously.